All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cesar Mascoro Jr. with MH Sales Mastery. And man, am I excited to bring on somebody very, very special. Probably something most of you folks know, and been around for quite a bit in the industry. We've got Mr. John Ace Underwood. John, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't know how
awesome.
special I am, but but
Yeah,
but
very,
thank you.
very, very, man, very much so. And folks, look, you may have seen John, heard of John, but run across some of the information John has put out over the years to help make the industry better. You know that's what we're all about here at MH Sales Mastery, and it just made sense. It just made sense that we would decide to partner up and work on something together. John, man, I am excited to let people know that you are coming to be a part of MH Sales Mastery. And we've got something really special that we're going to be offering to the industry that we're going to talk about here shortly. But just so that we can recap this, man, why don't you let the folks know what's your background here?
Well, first of all, I appreciate being here, and I am equally as excited about the adventures that we're about to start. So my background, basically, I've got 38 years in the industry, and they're some hard years. I won't bore you with all my sales background, but from a management standpoint, I ran a location in North Carolina that was a single lot location, and we were very successful. We did 35 homes a month fairly consistently, and I had a sales organization of 8 salespeople. After that, I became vice president of sales, and that was for a multi-lot operator in the Southwest and around Tucson and Arizona. And I was there as VP of sales until Berkshire Hathaway swallowed them up. And for the past 25 years, I've actually worked I was actually the consultant that owners called when their backs were up against the wall. And I worked with retailers, manufacturers, and community operators coast to coast. And so here's the thing. I've seen over those 25 years, I've seen what works, I've seen what wins, and I've seen what crashes and burns. And right now, and this is why I'm so excited about you and I getting together, Cesar, is most of what has worked even 10 years ago is not the answer to meet today's challenges.
That's for sure, and you do have an extensive background and a wealth of knowledge. I mean, I know when I started MA Sales Master 3 years ago, I was looking at stuff you had on there online, to see what is John putting out there, right? Because you're very, it's so true what you just said, especially there at the end. What worked 10 years ago does not work today. And that's
No.
the whole reason why we're out here and why you've been doing what you've been doing. And like I said, I think the fact that our paths finally crossed to be able to come together and partner up and work on being able to really deploy even more intensive programs and operations, things that'll help retailers and communities alike, right, is
Yeah.
just something that I'm really excited to get started with you, and really we're all excited to have you, man. So thank you for that. Let me ask you, John, what inspired you or made you want to partner up with us and build something out right now?
Uh, that is really a great question. And the answer to that is a lot more meaningful to me than you'll ever know. First of all, why I was looking to partner up with anybody is simply because I feel like that the headwinds that retailers are bracing themselves for at the moment, they're not getting any weaker, they're getting stronger. And here's what I came to realize: not one single person can fix all of this alone anymore. And you and I've met at the shows a number of times. I knew of you when you were a general manager in a very successful retail organization. So I've known you for a lot of years. And when you and I started talking, the one thing that I found about you is you didn't just talk sales. You actually ran one of the most successful dealerships in one of the toughest and most competitive markets in the country. So you walk the walk. And look, if we're going to be out there to help retailers maximize their footprint in their marketplace, you have to have people that know what they're doing. And that's why I really was excited about the opportunity to partner up with you. And to be honest with you, at first I didn't even know if you had interest because you're a busy guy. You're all over the place. So I thought, well, I don't know, but we took a shot at it. But anyway, today what we have to understand is just training salespeople today, and even implementing or tightening up systems, as it were, it's not enough. Here's the bottom line. If a retailer today wants to survive, never mind thrive, you have to force your way into the conventional site build housing market. That's where the buyers are, specifically the ones that will never set foot on your lot. And every month that goes by when a retailer isn't making an effort to penetrate that market, they're leaving sales and profits on the table. And that's precisely why we created the owner circle.
That's right. There it is, man. The owner circle, right? So, folks, we are bringing to you Manufactured Home Sales Mastery or MH Sales Mastery's owner circle. This is going to be a membership only, an exclusive group specifically for owners, right? Where we're going to be getting together with John, myself, and everyone else that's going to be a part of it to be able to really help improve and streamline different processes and systems, but mainly overall increase business and tap into that market that you were just talking about. That's something that we've been preaching since the day I started the company 3 years ago, which is the site built market is where we should be heading after, going after, because there's so many people there that can't buy. They're trapped in that Bermuda Triangle, if you will, right? That they can't buy that, but they don't really want to deal with this. And so let me ask you, how will the owner circle benefit owners of retail locations?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you said that it was exclusive because it is. This is not just another feel-good roundtable or dealer 20 group that gets together 2 times a year at a casino somewhere and we spend most of our time gambling. This is a group that makes sure that the three pillars upon which your company has to be built or a retail location has to be built, those three pillars are lead generation, lead conversion or sales, and sales activity management, that those are bulletproof. We have to, everything has to be built on that. And if those three elements aren't in force, if they're not rock solid, what everything else you do is for naught. And we're going to make sure that those three pillars are solid. That brings into the fold a lot of the training and a lot of, my God, more so than the training, Cesar. It's more the experience that you've had. We want to make sure that those three pillars are sound and solid, and we do this while we force you into the site build housing space, the single family housing space, and we do that whether that market or that industry likes it or not. Our retailers have a right to be there. And that's what we want to penetrate. Because look, here's the brutal truth, Cesar. And I know a lot of people are going to be, if they're not going to think about it for a second, they're going to be offended. But listen to me. There are literally tens of thousands of buyers in each of our clients' markets right now that are begging for affordable, quality housing. And trust me, they would love a factory built home, whether it's a HUD or a modular. But unfortunately, we're not going to see them. They won't get to see you, and they won't see the value in a factory built home. And be that because of a stigma that's attached to the manufactured housing industry, or whether it's an industry reputation or whatever, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is they would love a factory built home, but they can't see themselves buying their next home from a manufactured home dealer. They don't want to go to Bob's Mobile Homes to buy their next home. But I know, and like I said, I hope that our listeners understand this is not a criticism of them. This is something that happened. Things are the way they are because they got that way. Trying to find whose fault it is completely irrelevant. But what we have to do is we have to embrace the truth. But let's ask ourselves this question. What if a retailer could make significant inroads into the single family home space? Think about this. How many more buyers, how many more potential buyers could you expose your product to? And given the value that you offer, the tremendous value that factory built housing offers, how many of those deals could you close? And listen, I've always said, if you think about that, and if that doesn't light your fire, you got wet wood. If I don't, hopefully, I don't know how many of y'all might, or of our listeners would have heard about Michael Gerber, but I think he's phenomenal. I'm one of his disciples. I love everything that the guy basically teaches. But one of the things he taught is that there are three roles in an enterprise. There's the entrepreneur, there's the manager, and then there's the technicians. And most owners of enterprises especially in our space, most owners are stuck being managers or worse yet, technicians,
Yeah.
and they're tinkering with the things that are broken instead of blazing a new path. So the owner circle is for the entrepreneurs. It's for those that are ready to stop being just a manufactured housing retailer and start operating like and branding yourself as a genuine home builder. Understand that offsite construction is exactly that. It's just another construction method. This is about expanding your market. It's about bypassing the stigma, and it's about dominating a market that you're currently a minor participant in, if you're a participant at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Does that make sense?
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love what you said there about blazing a new path, right? And because for some reason, our industry has everything has innovated product, financing, everything except for the buying experience. The retail location elevating their method of thinking, operating to provide a better experience. I think that's really and so one of the things that we've seen in our consulting that we've been doing over the last few years is just a lot of times when we start working with the retailer, they are the same basic things, right? How can we get more leads? How can we when really what we need to be focusing on is how can we perform better? How can we operate better to give people those buyers, those site built buyers that you just talked about, something that is familiar to them when they come here, when they come to a retail location. Give them a familiar buying experience because that's what's going to make the difference. Because the product is great. Wouldn't you
I,
agree?
I tell you, we're not just singing out of the same hymnal. We're in the same chapter. It's great. It's so true. If you think about it, as an industry, we've never built a better product. We know that that the demand for affordable quality housing has never been better. So why is it that we can't seem to ever manage to get over about a 9 to 10% market share of all new homes being sold in the United States? That's tragic. It's absolutely tragic. And so, what can owners expect from working with us? Well, our primary purpose is to initiate growth in their enterprise, explosive growth. We want higher volume, higher margins, period. In my experience, over those 38 long years, the average retailer is leaving. This is again, people are going to be offended, but please, it's accurate. I can prove it to you. For the average retailer, for every home that they close, there are two more sales easily that they could have closed. Not, and by the way, this isn't because your team is ineffective. That's not what we're saying here, but because we're fishing in too small of a pond and we're fishing in a pond that's actually drying up. Those missing sales, the ones that are actually the single family home buyer that are not coming to our locations, that don't want to go to Bob's Mobile Homes, They're the bigger deals. They're the ones with cleaner credit. They've got higher margins, and they're being taken by site builders and developers while we wait.
Yeah. I mean, it's I keep saying it, man. I can't agree with you more. And that's why I'm excited to be able to get started with the owner circle. I'm excited that you're a part of this with us, right? And we're just going to it's just going to add to the value that we can bring to retailers, communities. And yes, we're going to get into marketing. Yes, we're going to get into ads and we're going to get into AI. We're going to get into all these things that are affecting business now because it is something that a lot of owners, not that they're afraid of, they're just uncertain. They're kind of like the buyers out there, right? The buyers are just a little uncertain. We just have to help them with it. And that's really what this is all about. So at the end of the day, we can help move the industry forward, we can help move their business forward, and we can help their teams thrive because yes, we want the owners to do well, and yes, we want the home buyers to be satisfied. But I think we could agree here also, we want the sales consultants to have a good life too, right? And benefit fully from this career opportunity.
Uh, I again, we agree 110%. I've always said successful people in your company are happy people in your company. They're the ones that typically won't leave. If they're happy and they're doing well, that's what we're looking for. Look, this industry, at the end of the day, there's enough, there's so much money waiting to be made by so many people. It's almost hard to imagine. But going back to our 20 members group, to this 20 members group, our owner circle. Here's what you have to understand. I really believe that the partnership between Cesar and myself, between you and I think is it can be revolutionary in the industry. And I'm not saying that because of ego. I'm saying that simply because we've been around long enough. We've experienced. It's a wonderful melting of two ideally positioned backgrounds and experience levels, and that's what's going to make the difference. But and we're going to bring a ton to the table. But here's what most people have to understand too: you're not just learning from the guys on in the front of the room or the ones in the on the that are facilitating the call or hosting the call. You're going to if we do this correctly, the people that we bring into this group, and by the way, it's not just for anybody. I mean, we you have to meet certain requirements, and we're looking for 20 top shelf dealers to be in this group. But understand that when you come to a group and when we have our meetings, it's not just the guys facilitating the meeting, it's the 19 other members that are there to share their experience. So you multiply your contribution, you multiply that times 19, and look what you end up with. And that's where the power of these comes from. But all that having been said, we're not going to sit around and sing kumbaya. This is about learning from each other and then going back and implementing and implementing and implementing some more. We truly want to make sure that our members, I can't prophesy, neither can you, Cesar. We can't prophesy what's going to happen in the future. But what we can prophesy is this. If somebody joins our group and learns from us, learns from each other, and we go back and implement whatever market you're in, I don't care what hits the fan and when, our members are going to far exceed any of their competitors any time of the day. That I am 100% confident in.
Yep, I'm right there with you, and that's what we've seen even with our current clientele, a client base of consulting client base. Everybody sees a huge increase in their business with us working directly with their teams, right? But now we're talking about dealing specifically with the owners because you, as an owner, now I'm speaking to you guys out there. You're the one who has to carry all the burden. You're the one who has all the pressure. You're the one that's signing all the checks. So who are you turning to, right? I mean, it's your team always turns to you. Your managers turn to you. I've seen it for myself. I'm in a retail location because that's the other benefit to being a part of this is we're not just talking about things that we think are going to work. We're actually sharing the things that are working right now, today, 2025 and beyond, that we see working for retailers across the country, and we're adding more to it. Now it's specifically to you, the owners. And like John said, it's exclusive just for you. And we're looking for 20 that want to truly revolutionize their not just their business, but the industry with us, right? As part of this and taking it to another level, as we always like to say here at MH Sales Mastery. Man, John, I'm excited about this.
I am too.
And I'm excited to have you with us in Louisville in January, right? And
Yep.
we'll be there sharing the word, spreading the message. And for anybody out there right now that's watching this, if you want details, if you think that you're an owner who is committed to excellence, who is committed to growth, who is committed to improving, I don't care if you think that, man, we're doing 40 houses a month right now. Guess what? Because of what's going on with the market right now and the 1.8 million shortage of homes every year, you could be doing 80. I'm just saying, if you really applied and built out systems and really just went after it. So everyone stands to improve, and we're all here to do it together as part of the owner circle. And you're going to have John Ace Underwood, you're going to have myself, and we'll be bringing in guests as well, I'm sure, throughout these calls, and have other people that are going to share what's working in different segments of business that you can implement in yours. So click on the link that you see here for some more details, and we'll reach out to you. John or I will reach out to you directly so that we can get this thing going for you. But John, man, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you coming together with us and partnering with us on this. I know, I'm not going to say I think, I know that the owner circle is going to make huge waves in the industry.
Cesar, I can tell you hand on heart, I have not been this excited about doing something probably for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Because I really, really think it's not about making money. We've both made our money. It's about making a difference. About making a difference in other people's lives. And I really, truly believe that we are on the verge of doing something that hasn't been done before, certainly not at the level that we want to do it. And I truly am excited about that. And what we got to understand, the industry is changing faster than it ever has. We
Yep.
know that the old retail models, that it's on life support. But one thing that we have to understand is it's we have always said adapt or die. That is the universal ultimatum. And our industry is no different. And one thing that I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, is what is non-negotiable is we are 100% committed to making sure that you don't become another casualty of this shift in our industry. And that you can take to the bank. We're going to help you in every which way we possibly can.
Yeah, for
So yeah, Cesar, I know we sound like we're preaching here,
sure.
but and I get it, but
It's
you know
just
what?
passion, man. It's
Hey,
passion.
you know what? It's like going to church, isn't it? If there's no fire in the pulpit, don't expect fire in the pew.
That's
So
right.
here we are. All right,
Well,
my
John,
friend.
man, I
Yep.
appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you in Louisville, and we'll be building this thing out between now and then. Anyway, folks, don't forget, get your details now. If you're one of those owners that you feel you're ready to take your business to another level, take your team to another level, we invite you to get with us, and we'll go through the process and see if it's the right fit. Because like John said, this is an exclusive group. We're looking for certain types of owners, and because we want it to be something that everyone benefits from. So,
Yep.
John,
Awesome.
man, take care. we'll be
Cesar,
talking
thank you
soon,
very much.
and we'll be seeing you very soon, man. Take
All right,
care.
my friend. Thank you.
Bye bye.